Wacky News of the Week for August the 3rd, 2012. First up, known only as Mathis L., he's a 20-year-old who says he's been to many illegal Facebook parties and thought to himself that he could throw a better one than anyone else. So he posted a Facebook invitation for a beach party to be held at Lake Constance in Constance, Germany. It seems it would have been a great success because thousands signed up, but the town's officials shut it down well in advance. The 150 or so who showed up at the beach, they were greeted by about 300 police. No trouble actually occurred, but 8 people were detained for refusing to leave. Now, Mathis L. has been presented with a bill for $280,000 to cover the cost of the police. The only thing is that Mathis L. only earns about $685 a month. Mathis says, "When I look at the bill, I get ill," and rightly so, because the German officials say they are going to get their money. I guess old Mathis L. is going to have to either get a better paying job or at least a second job, because if they take all of his money that he makes each month now, it's going to take over 34 years to pay the bill off. If you're in Berlin this summer and visit the new National Gallery Modern Art Museum, be careful where you step. It seems that Austrian artist Martin Gossner has placed 4 piles of artificial horse manure on the floor. Gossner painted the dung blue to pay tribute to Franz Marc's painting The Tower of Blue Horses. Back in 1937, the Nazis took Marc's painting and said it was un-German and degenerate. It's unknown if the painting was destroyed or not, but each of the 4 piles of blue manure represent one of the horses in Marc's lost painting. Now this Gossner dude, he can't really believe that they're blue horses, let alone that they would poop blue, can he? In a wheat field in eastern Washington, about 5 miles north of the town of Wilbur, a set of 4 crop circles that resemble a 4-leaf clover seemingly appeared out of nowhere, because there are no signs that anyone walked through the wheat to where the circles are located. The owners of the wheat field, Greg and Cindy Guide, they're taking it rather lightheartedly. Greg said that the circles cover about an acre of ground, but there is nothing they can do about it. Cindy said they don't have alien insurance, but she thinks it's cool that if it really was aliens that created the circles, that she and Greg are honored they chose their property. Here's a rather disturbing story. Pauline Spinelli died in 1996 at the ripe old age of 98 and was entombed with 5 other family members in a mausoleum located in a secluded area of Atlantic City Cemetery in Pleasantville, New Jersey. Cemetery officials called the police when they discovered that someone had broken into the mausoleum and had stolen Pauline's body. Police say whoever did this heinous crime came with the heavy-duty tools needed to break into the mausoleum. They're not sure who did this or why, but family members believe that a cult has something to do with the theft of Pauline's body. Pauline's grandson, Rocco Spinelli, said, "What can these people possibly believe in to take a 16-year-old dead body?" He said, "I don't want to see somebody desecrate her body, chop her up, or make some kind of voodoo dust out of her." He also pleaded, "If you're done with her, bring her back." And then he said, "If anything works in their minds, grandmom's going to haunt them for the rest of their lives." And I have to agree with Rocco when he said, "They're sick people, they're crazy." If you love roller coasters as much as I do, you'll really appreciate this story. 12-year-old Shane Mattis was riding in the front car of the 45-foot-tall King of Ka roller coaster at the Six Flags theme park in Jackson Township, New Jersey, when he was struck in the face by something. Shane said, "When it hit me, I was like, what the? Did somebody throw a ball or something? When I started spitting out feathers, I was like, that was a bird." He thinks it was a pigeon. Shane said, "They say the bird exploded." and being the brave young man that he is, he said, "It hurt a lot for like 3 seconds. People behind us had feathers and blood all over them." The coaster was returning to the station when Shane heard a car alarm in the parking lot and turned his head. He said, "If that car alarm didn't go off, it would have hit me dead in the eye." Shane was taken to the hospital and was treated for bruises and scratches on his face and neck. When asked if he would ever ride a roller coaster again, he replied, "Yeah, but not in the front." Allie, a former Greyhound race dog, has a new career as a therapy dog. At the age of 3, he was adopted 5 years ago by Irving, Texas resident Cheryl Woldenow, who, with him, trained for a year and became certified through Therapy Dog International. In the summer, Allie is kept busy by visiting 3 to 4 places each week, performing tricks for audiences at libraries, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers. Now, Allie isn't just any dog. He paints and plays piano. Unfortunately, though, he's been diagnosed with lupus. In good old Sherwood, Arkansas, a Faulkner County Sheriff's deputy was responding to a call about a bull running loose when he saw a man slapping and trying to guide the bull. As the patrol car arrived on the scene, the bull reared up, pinned the man against the patrol car, and being in the mood for love, tried to mate with the man. The bull soon lost interest and followed a truck down the road. No injuries were reported, and the deputy's car only sustained minor damage. A few drunks made the wacky news this week. In Ohio, Tiffany Hurd, 36, was allegedly drunk when she tried to climb over a barbed wire fence to get into the Butler County Jail. She told the officials that she wanted to be arrested. She was told repeatedly by deputies to leave, but she refused and kept insisting that she wanted to be arrested. They finally obliged her by charging her with disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. Sheriff Richard Jones said Hurd's actions caught him by surprise and said, "I know the economy is bad right now, but I didn't think it was so bad that someone would actually try to break in to jail." Then, in Coraopolis, Pennsylvania, drunk 24-year-old Garrett Stauber kicked in a lady's apartment door, stole a potato peeler and a kitchen knife out of her dishwasher, and then grabbed her small dog and left. A neighbor who heard the ruckus scuffled briefly with Stauber. The police were called, and he was found sitting shirtless on a couch in a friend's apartment in the same building. Now, this happened in Putnam Township in Michigan. An unnamed 27-year-old drunk entered a neighbor's house and climbed into bed with the couple. They got up, left, and called the police. When the cops arrived, they found the man deeply asleep with his shorts pulled partly down. When they woke him, he said, "This isn't my house." He told the officers that he had put his 2- and 4-year-old kids to bed at his house a few doors down the street and then went to a nearby bar for drinks. The toddlers were found sound asleep and placed with neighbors. The unnamed man was booked on suspicion of illegal entry and was released on bond. James Geist is a New York City social studies teacher who has been spending his summer vacation at his home in West Milford, New Jersey. And already this year he's seen in his yard 2 pythons. He was out on his deck reading when he saw the first snake. He thought it was a branch that moved, but then he realized, hey, that's a snake. He called the police, and when they came out, they brought 2 snake handlers, and they removed a 15-foot albino python. James said the snake was huge, thick, but docile. It was just 4 days later when he saw another python. This one was a 10-footer. Authorities believe the tropical snakes were released by someone who had moved from the neighborhood. This serves as a public service announcement. Be sure to return your library books, because in New Mexico, Lori Till was arrested and handcuffed in front of her 5 small children at her home and spent a night in jail for not returning the book Twilight and a 2 DVD set, The Twilight Saga New Moon, back to the library on time. It seems she owed the library $36 for the unreturned items which she had borrowed in 2010. Her attorney says arrest warrants were mailed last year to an address at which Till hasn't lived since she was a child. But Till was arrested by officers while they were investigating a disturbance. For the record, her charges were dismissed. Now, we know most men hate to grocery shop. What was initially a joke was the idea of creating a man's aisle in the West Side Market in Manhattan. The man's aisle is stocked with everything a man would need, such as beer, condoms, beef jerky, and razors. You know, all those things that are necessary. It's been a big success, and other grocery stores are looking to add a man's aisle to their stores. At the Central New Mexico Community College in Albuquerque, a would-be burglar, 38-year-old Thomas Milana's attempt to steal computer hardware was spoiled when he got tangled up in some window blinds. He was arrested and charged with burglary and breaking and entering, and he's being held on a $10,000 bond. This sounds like a George Jones story. It happened in Clinton, Tennessee. Michael Haney was arrested for the 7th time for drunk driving. An Anderson County Sheriff's deputy, who knew Haney's driver's license had been suspended, saw him on a John Deere riding mower on the shoulder of the road. The deputy pulled Haney over and said his speech was slurred, his eyes bloodshot, and he didn't do well in Phil's sobriety test. In a plea bargain, the 48-year-old Haney pleaded guilty in exchange for a 2-year sentence and a $3,000 fine. But before he can be released, he must serve at least 30% of his term. This fella needed to have read the book. In Louisville, Kentucky, Terry J. Davis was arrested for stealing a textbook called Resolving Ethical Issues from the University of Louisville's Health Sciences Center. The arrest report said surveillance video cameras captured the theft at the university and Davis's attempt to sell the book to Gray's College Bookstore in Louisville. It seems the police gave the mayor of Logansport, Indiana, Ted Franklin, a $20 parking ticket because the nose of his yellow Corvette was sticking into a no parking zone. The mayor says he's been at odds with some of the members of the police department. So to keep from getting any more tickets, he's created his own parking space in an area that was previously reserved for police squad cars around the town hall, with a sign that reads, Mayor Parking Only. And before we sign off, in Somerville, Georgia, some vandals cut some of David Driver's fences that enclose his turtle farm, and some 1,600 of his 2,200 turtles have escaped to other cool spots like creeks and ponds. The sheriff's deputies are searching for the escapees. Well, that's it for this week, but be sure to check back next week for more wacky news, and don't forget to go to www.thejestermagazine.com for weekly jokes, trivia, riddles, and more.